the Sherpa of the G20, Amitabh Kant, is speaking to India today exclusively. Let's listen in.
I want to go across now, live and exclusive, to the man of the moment, the hero of the G20, India's Sherpa, Prime Minister Modi's blue-eyed bureaucrat, technocrat, who's delivered once again on the highest stage possible. Amitabh Kant now joins us live on India Today. Mr. Kant, the Prime Minister is congratulating you, the government's congratulating you, people watching this time saying once again, Chage ji, aap to well done.
Well, let me tell you, Rahul, it's been very, very tough, very difficult, but we've managed to get everybody around, and it really demonstrates India's great leadership of bringing all emerging markets together, bringing the developed world together, bringing China, Russia, everyone together, and arrive at a consensus on 83 different paras, including 8 paras on the geopolitical crisis. And on the geopolitical crisis, can you hear me?
I hear you well. I was seeing the pre-briefing that you did. Your eyes were looking swollen and puffed, and I was thinking, I don't think Mr. Kant's got much sleep. It's all the hard work and labor that you've put in has finally come through.
Yeah, it's been, so it's been about almost, we've been doing non-stop negotiations for the last about 8 days since the Sherpa meeting started. And it's just been round the clock 24/7. And the Sherpas are very tough, very, very tough and ruthless negotiators, I must say. It was, so while we were able to get a lot done on the developmental side, the Russia-Ukraine crisis was the real challenge because the Bali paras had, failed right after, and then you didn't have, last 9 months we were struggling actually, and all our ministerials we had a challenge, and we had to really get it going. The Prime Minister's direction was very clearly that this has to be a consensus. We do not want any footnote. We do not want any chair summary. It has to be 100% consensus. And I tell you, what we've achieved is truly unique in terms of even the Russia-Ukraine crisis. It's really the voice of emerging markets speaking out. And this was possible because I worked with the Sherpas of Brazil, I worked with the Sherpa of South Africa, and later the Indonesian Sherpa joined us. We worked as a team together. And then later we brought in Saudi, Mexico, Turkey, all involved together. So once you have a strong voice of the emerging markets, then everyone else understood that we want a consensus. And we had to work through about 7-8 different drafts. We got it, but I had a very good team of young officers like Nagaraj Naidu and Inam Gambhir who worked with me, and Naidu was top class in drafting. Inam was very enthusiastic on the geopolitical side, and they really worked with me as a very good team to get everybody around. But in the final call, let me tell you, it was just the Prime Minister's leadership, because after having done about 15 different drafts and 200 odd bilaterals, I took it to the last moment, and at the last moment, I just said that we had realized that this was the best. 4 Sherpas had realized that this was the best balance, this was the best perspective of everyone's red line. So I took it to the Sherpas, said this is the final version, and this will be the final. And if you issue with this, please ask your leader to talk to my Prime Minister. My leader has given me the green signal. He feels it's a very good. Any one of you has a challenge, please tell your leader to talk to my. I checked up my mobile today morning. This finished at about 7. I had 0 objection. Everybody. That really shows that the leadership of India, and that's how it happened.
Now you tell me the toughest time. Who was the toughest G20 Sherpa? Who time?
No, we had a lot of challenges. We had challenges because every G7 country had a red line. China had red line, but once they realized that all emerging markets were together, they got on. And Russia had several red lines. But we wanted to move on from the Bali paras. We wanted to be far more progressive. We wanted a forward-looking language which is based on the UN principles. So we brought in elements of territorial integrity, we brought in sovereignty, we brought in political independence, we brought in territorial acquisition, all these principles, so that it was not, Russia is important, Russia-Ukraine is important, but there are several conflicts around the world, and we linked the principles and made it and also brought in elements of the Black Sea Initiative, the other UN initiative between several countries, and all that. We brought in the element of food, fuel, fertilizer, everything. And therefore, it became a very progressive, forward-looking draft, to my mind.
Your critics will say you watered down the condemnation of the war that Russia has foisted on Ukraine. How do you respond to that?
So, if you look at, do a close reading, the document moves on from Bali. Bali, there was condemnation, but it didn't work. We want things to work. We want things to have longevity. It recalls Bali. So Bali is very much there, but it lays down the basic principles for every country, particularly Russia, that there has to be integrity, there has to be territorial integrity, there has to be political sovereignty, and nobody can just walk in and acquire territorial land. All that is there. So look at that. Do a careful intellectual reading of those paras, and it sends out a huge message from emerging markets to the rest of the world. There's been no dilution. It's a far more powerful language. It's a call for peace. It's a call for the world to grow, develop, and for everyone to come together. It's a unique document based on the philosophy of one earth, one family, one future, including those 8 paras, are very powerful. And then it ends with today's era is not of war. And everybody rallied around in the end. So that's to my mind, it demonstrates India's great ability to bring consensus all around.
How will this India, Mid-East, Europe corridor work in the real sense? How is this different from China's Belt and Road Initiative? By when will we see some of these infrastructure assets actually come together, sir?
So Rahul, this is a work in progress. 2 years, this is going on. It's an America initiative. Several countries are involved. India is also involved. But, since I have to just run for another meeting, I'll take leave and I'll join you on another day to tell you more stories on how this was negotiated. Okay?
Once this gets over, how do you intend to party, celebrate? You're hitting the treadmill, going for golf. What are you going to do? Because you've had a rough few months building up as India's G20 Sherpa.
Yeah. It's been very tough negotiating this. I think it's been really, really, I won't wish it on anyone else.
Do you call this the toughest assignment of your life?
Yeah, it was. Negotiating with, actually you're negotiating with 29 Sherpas, 20 plus 9, but 20 Sherpas are very tough. And they're all NSAs of their country. So some are ministers also. So it's very tough negotiations. Every word is fought for. But at the end of it all, we were able to come up with a very, very strong. But I think you're talking about Russia, Ukraine, but the developmental aspect of this document are enormous. It is very powerful. It has about 112 outcomes as compared to 30 to 35 in other G20. So it's a historical G20. It's a very path-breaking G20. And India's achievements are immense in this G20.
Okay, if I hold you anymore, they may not let you in for the Rashtrapati's dinner, so I shan't do that. The Prime Minister hardly ever praises people in public, but you've been a blue-eyed boy for a long time and coming through on the big stage. The big man delivering for India, delivering for the Prime Minister on the big stage. We'll catch up with you soon. Thank you very much, Sherpa Amitabh Kant.